Okay, I decided that I want a lookup table for, well, everything I'm supporting of this. Currently only one, two. Vertex and fragment. But what values do they have? I mean, lookup table means I need an entry for each. Oh, that's 1, 2. Oh, well, that's not going to be a lookup table then. Well, unless I'm assuming a single bit, I can do a log2, I suppose. I believe they're all in order, right? Compute all graphics, stage all, array bit any hit, closest miss intersection callable, task bit. Yeah, well. And then these are repeats actually. And then there is one that is the whole mask, which we shouldn't be using. So the last is bit NV. Task bit NV. Nope, mesh bit NV. Let's put there. So this is not entirely in order. I suppose that does matter. Right. Where shall I put my lookup table? I'm going to put my lookup table in at shader stage.h, well, in .cxx. But we can declare it here, unless I want to make it a cons expression thing. Nah, doesn't make any sense. Okay, so lookup table, probably private is good enough. We have a map here. I'll just put it up here, I guess. Lookup table means that it is an array that converts something to ints. I hate using int. Maybe you should make it a special type, a special index type again, just so we do not get confused with other indexes. I'm going to replace this map with an array that takes that index. Let me begin with that then. That would be utils array, and then whatever this is storing. Wait, that's not true. This, of course. Comma, and then the type. Well, what shall I call the type of the index? Declaration context container. It's a per stage. It's a stage index, right? Maybe a bit too short. Stage. I'm gonna call it shader stage index. A bit vague, but well. Which end is the same name? Why not? So that is going to be replaced, and now I need to define, of course, my shader stage index. I don't know where I'm going to need that, but probably only in this file. So I'll start with defining it right here. Well, that then is a utils index, array index, I mean, which how does that work again? Category. Yeah. Well, doesn't matter. Some type. If I use this, then it should work. Okay, we'll have to add a header, of course. My God, people keep asking that. Honzu, ChatGPT is mindless random generator. No understanding whatsoever. The only thing it does is that it was trained to generate output that reads like something that could be the answer to whatever you ask. I was going to include something. Utils array.h. I mean, already I did a stream about it, and in a later stream I even did a demonstration of how stupid it is. I don't want to keep talking about ChatGPT. No. It cannot. It would generate nonsense and then claim that it is working. The nonsense would look like it works, but at the first glance from a distance through your eyelashes, I don't know, maybe they will make progress, but they're far, 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 far away from anything resembling actual intelligence. This thing still has no idea what it's talking about. No, let me continue, man. So standard array. Wait, there was a lookup table. Okay, there was standard array. Yeah, this converts integers to shader stage indexes. The shader stage index is then an index into this array. And the input must be the logarithm of, yeah, I forgot. A fragment was one of them. This. You can't lie because it doesn't know what it's talking about. There is no intelligence, no memory, no attempt to verify itself or think logically about anything. It just produces text, which can look like C++. And the only thing it does is make it likely or look like, you know, pattern recognition, other text that it saw on the internet. So I asked it many C++ questions and it came only with nonsense. None of the programs worked even remotely, even though it claimed that it did. I mean, it's just producing text, so the answer would be something like, well, you can do this as follows. Program that works, explanation of how the program works, and then repeating your question, but then translate it a little bit. Like I ask, say, write a program that adds x plus y so that it gives z, and then it produces some nonsense, and then it ends with, so this program adds x plus y so that it will reproduce z. But it has nothing to do with the program, it is just the repeat of your question. Because that is what a real answer would look like. And since it can't think and don't understand C++, it can't compile anything, check anything, it's not interested in the correctness of the answer, it's just nonsense, the program that it wrote. Maybe the program would look correct if it literally saw it somewhere. It already exists, and some coincidence it matched your question to the code that it already saw, and then it reproduces that code, and then by coincidence it works. Now, that really, I don't want to talk about ChatGPT. I clearly now give my opinion. It's useless. It's an wat is dat? Kermisattractie. Is it called a fairy attraction? I don't know. Wait, yeah. Input of this. Okay, I need a size. So the size, well, let's give it a name. The size, and then this is going to be the lookup table. Now let's call it form2. So it's a log2 of, and of course I forgot it again. Fragment. I need to copy this. The log2 of the, well, shall I use capital S? No. 2 to the stage index. Now this is so annoying. Now it is either you say, okay, so it translates this to that and then takes the log2 of it, or does it take the log2 of that and then translates it to this? And you cannot see that with the underscore stuff. So maybe I should remove this one. So it's slightly better to understand, even though I don't like how it looks. Which then makes, let's keep that, which then makes the size here one more than the largest value, where the largest value is the log2 of the largest value of this thing. There is no neat way to get the largest value, I think, except when I just list all of them. Guess I just don't do that. I'm just going to say what the largest value is that we actually use, which is fragment. So I'm going to have a static const expression of this type. No. Of this type. With a certain name, and that is then equal to fragment. And the name is the static. For a const expression, I don't do that. Largest. Value. I don't know. Nah. Largest shader states flag. Bit. Shade flag. I don't know. If it was flags, it would be bits. In this case, it's just 1 bit. Then we can add a const expression for, well, that's an int, I think. Utils log2 of the largest value. Need a name, well, the log2 of that thing. Note that log2 in utils is a const expression thing. It returns the floor of the log2 of n, but since we are passing single bits, the floor is just not doing anything. We'll just get a log2. Oh yeah. So, 1 shifted left to log2 of n equals to n if and only if n is a power of 2, which is the case. And then the size of my array must be 1 larger, because I actually want to use this as an index. But, well, this is a lookup array, so it's also static. And in this case, I'm going to give it a name S instead of M, prefix I mean. And I have to initialize it. I'm not even sure if that is possible. How do you initialize an array? With the const expression. Well, at the very least, you have to go to this file. Put it somewhere at the bottom, I guess. Initiate stage, or at the top. What do you think? Let's put it at the top. Yeah, the type is not important actually. Is it? Of course it is. Hit shader stage is, and then something to initialize the array. And the shader stage index is also part of this. And the log2 also. Whoops, I made it private. That's no longer possible if I do it like this, I think. Well, I'll just make it public then. Doesn't really matter. I don't know what these two things. Okay, now the fun stuff. The first thing that is here is corresponds to the index 0. And that means that the log2 is 0, which means that the value itself is 1. And the log2 of 1 is 0. And that would be not a flag. Right, I mean, let's jump to my if fragment again. And the first value is the first bit. That is 1. The log2 of this is, and that is 0. I was turning it around. 0 corresponds to 1. So that would be this vertex bit thing. However, we are not really sure in which order this is all put. So I cannot use eVertex because, you know, maybe in a later, well, they won't, but maybe in a later version they would move eVertex down, and or the value of this thing would change. I don't know. So I think it's probably easier to just fill it with. I don't have to fill it with everything. Plus, I would still have to assume that these are indeed bits. Okay, I'm going to hardcode this in and then add static asserts to make sure that it is still correct. Wait. Also not sure where to put that. Let's put it here. It's in a .cxx file for now. No, that's nonsense. I don't want an enum. Just use a static const expression for I don't think that's possible, but I can construct it like that. Let's call it like that. Okay, so eVertex and eFragment are the only thing that I support at the moment. I want to compress everything, so just use the lowest values for an array, 0 and 1. And then that's the position that I'm going to store it in. But we don't use ints. 0 and 1 are ints, but here they are converted to shader stage index, which is an int, but wrapped in a way that you cannot convert it to and from an int anymore. So it's type safe. I can, however, use it for an utils array that is specifically declared to take that type of index. And this is a lookup table. That should convert eVertex to eVertex index. And then eVertex is, well, eVertex comes here. And they are in order because the index of this lookup array is the logarithm, log 2 of the actual values. And this was 0. So the log 2, 1 is 0. And this is this bit is 2, so then the log 2 of that is 1. So that comes here. Oops. Let's keep it the same, and now let's call it index. Except of course that these three don't exist. Let's use the value If it is default constructed, then it is undefined. I mean, that has a magic value that means undefined. And I guess I can just do it. Call this undefined. And that's a bit short, so let's add something. Share stage index. Default constructed. And I don't want to define this yet, so I'm just going to put that here. Now I would like to add a static assert here, but that would only be possible if I make this a const expression. And yeah, well, why not, I would say. But, can all be checked during compile time that this array is correct, even though I had to do it manually. Initialize it manually, like I just typed it in, but checking it is easier. So make this a const expression as well. Now I'm not sure if this can be initialized in the .cxx file. Maybe I must initialize it here. Well, we will see. So then can add a static assert here, which checks that that array using this index blah blah returns me a vertex index. And the same for fragment index. And this is then utils log2 something. Being so this just checks that if I take one of these values and I take the log2 and then use that as an index into my array, then I will get what I expect, 0 and 1. Let's see if that compiles. no match operator equals inside log2. Because we cannot take the log of an enum. Provided argument must be an unsigned integral type. Okay, the value returns a size type, I think. I have a load of get values. Looking for this one, an int. That's not unsigned. Yeah, well, but pretty sure it's positive. Wait, there's a better way to make it unsigned, I think. Something like, well, I don't know, C++, unsigned, 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 unsigned. Make unsigned? No, there it is. Struct make unsigned. Yeah, that's not what I want. It just converts int to unsigned int, but that is hardly useful. Yeah, just have to cast it, I guess. Now unsigned is just short for unsigned int. So if this value would return, say, a long, then we would have a narrowing cast here. But I think that one, that gives a warning, and two, I wouldn't even care. I threw away the upper 32 bits because, yeah, it's just a small int, come on. So I don't even care what the type is, as long as it is actually a positive positive integer. And it will be, because it's efragment. Sorry, it's log2. No, wait, what am I doing here? Efragment. Yeah, okay. This must be positive value, and it is, I think, because it's actually VK flags. It is unsigned int 32 bits. Might as well cast it to that. These things are based on an unsigned int 32. So that would be the most logical way, I suppose, to cast it here. It should even be automatic. I don't get it really, why it's not, why it is unsigned. Wait, signed, I mean. But it's signed because this is unsigned. My Okay, I'm an idiot. Sorry. Large shader stage flags it's not the type that I thought it was. So the whole get value is nonsense. I just need to cast it to its underlying type. And I'm pretty sure there is an underlying type thing for underlying standard underlying type. It is a complete enumeration, provides a member type def type that names the underlying type of T. So we can literally do a standard underlying type and cast to that, and then use VK shader bit flags. But well, the way Vulkan works, they provide it, you know, like this. Might as well cast it to that. Doesn't really matter. I think I'm leaving it like this. Now it should compile because that was an unsigned int. What is unsigned? I could also change my log2 to accept enums when the underlying type is unsigned. That would maybe more beautiful, right? Wait, what is this? Declaration context container type was not declared in the scope. I moved it or whatever. That is defined down here. Expression static data member must have an initializer. I was afraid of that. Well, the only reason I really want to just have it in this .cxx file. And the only reason I made it a const expression is so I could do static asserts. But let's check what happens if we remove that. So now I don't have to initialize it anymore, but I think that now it's going to complain about static asserts not being possible. Type value mismatch at argument 2 in template parameter list for, yeah. Array has a size. This is my index. I need still to provide a size here. Yeah, the size is 2. But in order to know that, I'm going to have to move all of these things here to the class, I guess. It's not a problem. There's static const expressions. You don't make anything larger. I have to do this after that because the shader stage index, which depends on declaration context type, which is defined here. So I have to define this all the way up here now. Is that enough? No, I still had to add a size. The size then is, well, the last one plus 1. Let's make that a size type. I'm just going to literally call that the size of this lookup table. So now we have 0, 1, 2. Maybe even do it like this, so it's even more clear. Actually, that was nonsense again. Sorry about that. It's the size of this array. And there should be a size here. I wonder if we can use auto here, because it already knows what that is. I'll try that if it compiles. Const expression static data member is undefined, must have an initializer. Excuse me. Array index has a, oh, it's not const expression. Const expression static data member is undefined, must have an initializer. Again. Now that's so weird. Just going to give it an initializer here. What the hell is this? How can I not have a const expression? A default constructed const expression. Seems nonsense to me. As per stage declaration, context size was not declared in this scope. Man, what a fight. Wrong number of template arguments. 3, should be 2. Yeah, because this is a static array and not a utils array. I'm being sloppy. I'm being like GPT, ChatGPT, generating random nonsense. It's a standard array. Copy that. I'll get it all wrong again. I think now it's okay. Oops. I meant make. Error, standard array, utils, array index, standard set, blah. 5 is private in this context. Oh, what is private? The standard array itself. So the S log to bitch, S log to something is private. How silly is that? I could put it in the constructor, and then if a static assert is not allowed, I'm just going to do it at runtime. But we don't know yet because it doesn't compile. So let's start with making it public, I guess. I can make everything public. Not yeah. Well, it's not const, however. Let's make it const. I can safely make it public, which is ridiculous, by the way. So I'm not happy with that. You're making all these things public, like, gives me the feeling that, you know, other code needs it. But that's not the case. It only needs to be public so I can declare things in the .cxx file of the same object. What? How can that make any sense? Philip, you're asking frequently asked questions here that I have answered too often. What was the problem? In one sentence, because it doesn't slow me down, and if I would switch, my productivity would drop dramatically. There's the error here. Previous declaration as am I crazy? What is this? Conflicting declaration? Vulkan pipeline, add shader stage. It's the same thing. And the type is also the same thing. Oh, there's a const here. That's not here. Still confused. I made it const. Yeah, sorry, Philip. It's not you. But people ask it a lot, so it annoys me. I'm not blaming you. Required from here. Error no match for operator equals. I should add it to the FAQ, I guess. I'm just lazy. Then you should start. I'll call you Anek. Anek now Gamer TV. Oh. when I learned to programming, there was no internet. There was nobody could ask anything. I just took a computer and started coding. Okay, maybe I asked my dad for a manual, or the manual of the computer. But then I cannot remember ever having asked my dad anything, except for, material, like the manual. And I just started. Just read the manual and then you start coding. I surpassed my dad in no time. Well, he was a programmer at Philips himself. But there came a time that I even helped him, with his with a problem that he had. I already told that story before, I think, on the stream. How that went. I won't repeat it. In instantiation of cons expression, utils log2. Required from here. No match for operator equals. Operator times are vigazed an int. It's still having a T of shader stage flag bits. What we solved that. Oh no, now here. Yeah, pretty annoying. I guess I'm going to need a function as well for the conversion. That is a conversion to an int. Highly annoying. Or whatever log2 returns. And it does return an int. How shall we call it? Well, for now I want to see this compile and work. So I'll just do a set of cast again. I suppose everyone agrees that it's really starting to look silly, that you have to prefix absolutely everything. So what am I doing wrong here? The reason that you have to prefix everything is because we are not inside a class or inside a member function of the class. And that is because we are not. The bloody array is not really inside the class, static array. I think it should be. I think there's a kind of a flaw in C++ here. Non-constant condition for static assertion. Call to a non-constant expression function bool utils array index operator equal. Well, apparently we're calling this. Yeah, we can keep add const expression everywhere. And I guess I just have to, because, well, it is const expression. I'll do all of them. Substitute bool with const expression bool. It's kind of silly, right? Well, I refuse to add const expressions until I really run into them. I think there should be a way to mark class as const expression, and then all the member functions automatically are turned into a const expression, unless that is not possible. New error. Non-constant condition for static assertion. In const expression expansion of operator equals. The value is not usable in a constant expression. Was not declared const expression. So that's what I was afraid of. You cannot do the static cast here because this is not a const expression. Okay, to hell with it. We'll move everything into the class. And then make this a const expression, I guess. Though I don't see really the benefit of it. Oh, this one. At least the benefit here is now that I can delete these stupid... okay, wait. get rid of the stupid prefixes. No match for operating blah. Operator, utils array, and VK shadow stage flag bits. Yeah, that doesn't work. Alright, apparently it compiled. Well, that's something. So this finally works. Even the static asserts passed. But beautiful is something else. And if you ask me now, I can make everything private again as well. Just make everything private. So this declaration context container type I did use as a category type for my shadow stage index, and that's kind of logical because it is also what is being returned by my array, which takes that as the index type. And then it has a size, of course. Going backwards. The size is set to 2, which is just one more than the last thing that we will use. We wanted to return, no, we wanted to accept. I wanted to accept this or this value, and then that's its size. And those values then are returned by this lookup table, which takes as index the log 2 of a shadow stage flag, which is calculated in an awkward way. So I'm going to add a function, and since everything is const expression, it's got to be a static const expression function, and that is going to return whatever we have here. So it's going to return, I guess this. No. The return, it's going to return int. And basically, well, it takes a log too, but who cares? It's more like converting the shadow stage flag. Let's call it this. It's converting. It was converting this here, so I'm gonna call it a shadow stage flag bit. Maybe like here to do a bit too. What does it return? An int. Naming things, absolute horror. You know, what it really does is return the index of this array. So like that. The shader state flag bits to the as log to shader state flag bits to shader stage index. But I don't think we're gaining anything here. But yeah, well then how to look it? How to call it? I'm going to give it a short name. Get lookup index. Mm-hmm. I'll add it as a commando. Convert a bit, single bit mask to the index of put that here. Let's put that closer to where I'm actually using it. In fact, now I have this const expression function. Let me put this there. So like you have here e-fragment, and then I also say that, well, that's the largest one then that I use. And then I can do this one. I think. As an int. Get the lookup index of, well, the largest shader state flag. +1. No, I think so. Okay, this is already replaced now, so I did have the largest thing. Yeah, except that I confused the names again. We're having two sizes. Nope, not good. Like that, I guess. Need to give them both. Still confused though. You would say that the conversion is possible, but the conversion is only possible through the lookup array. So yeah, we cannot do that. Well, we cannot use it to define the size of that array then. It's going to catch 22. Hello, Rohit. And Amin, yeah, self-learned. I did study physics, not programming. I want to get rid of this though. Let me just replace this with a call to the function. Yeah, excusez-moi. So this is like literally the objective. That if you take this shader stage flag bits value that we use, and we run it through this function and then use it as an index into the lookup table, then I want to get a value back that has shader stage type, and then compressed, as in the only thing that we are currently using is vertex and fragment, so I want to get back 0 and 1. And then I can make a very small array with the size of only 2, which is defined here. Now, the big question is, can I not automatically generate this too? It is equal to 1 plus 1, but then I must know that this is the last one, you know, E fragment. And I don't really know that, although I had to do this. So I kind of know the E fragment is the last one using this value, but then the only thing I have is a power of 2. That's pretty large. Like 1, 2, 4, 8, 16. This is 16. How can I convert my 16 to a 1? I cannot. The only way I can do that is by using this lookup table. So I don't see a way. And okay, there's a difficulty with naming of things. Like here I'm naming it the way I'm using it, but you can also name it according to what defines it, and that is actually better in most cases. So instead I'll call this, I remove the S because now it's a const expression anyway. I'll just call this the number of shader stage indexes. That's like 1, 2, and that's how we have it, the number of. And then I'm going to use that as the size. And that tells you a lot more. I mean, we know that this is the size as the second argument of the array. And then now you read it, you say, okay, so we have a declaration context container, which is a standard set. And we have 2 of them. Or at least we have the same number of them as that we have shader stage indexes. Which is the index of this array. These are the only 3 members that we have. This used to be a map, but now instead of using a map I have to use this, which is a bit long. So maybe you should make another function just to abbreviate this whole thing. But yeah, that would be a conversion from shader stage flag bits to shader stage index. I can do that. I think it's slightly smaller. So after defining this array, we can define a static const expression that returns the result of this array, and that I can just call shader stage flag bits. bit 2. Shader stage index. I don't like the bit. I mean, it must be a bit, but I'm gonna just simply enforce it with an assert that it is only a single bit. So this converts a shader stage flag to a shader stage index. Wow, that looks good, doesn't it? And that, well, that it just returns this thing here. But yeah, we want to be sure that nobody is being stupid as to call this with a value that's not a power of 2. It must be a single bit. So I want to do an assert that this thing is a power of 2. I have that in my library. Utils is, oops, is power, come on, is power of 2. Simple thing is also const expression. However, what? Usage is power of 2. Yeah, but this is not const expression. Well, that's not really a problem, of course, but now I'm doing my assert inside the const expression function. And the assert itself is not a const expression. I need a const expression assert. And well, I'll go ahead one, but I'm not sure if I kept it. I think it was called assert x. Or x assert. Neither seems to exist. I'm just going to need it. I need it. I'll just add it, I guess. Okay, anyway, let's assume that this works for now. And then this thing is basically what we're doing already here. No, much better. Lens, yeah, I cannot remember anything, so I'll just use regular expression searches all the time. So my main objective by giving names to things is that they will pop up if I try an obvious regular expression search. For example, I forget completely what the name is. But you know, it will probably have the word flag and index in it, or it will probably have shader stage flag into it, or it is a conversion, so it must have underscore to underscore in it. One very important way to make that work, that you just make up, you reinvent a name or a part of it, and then you are able to find it back, is by never ever using abbreviations. So that's why my names are so long. If you make a long name short, you're using abbreviations, or you're kicking out things that later you might want to search for. Anyways, we have a problem here. This won't compile. That doesn't look like what I was expecting. Static context expression get lookup index called in a constant expression before its definition is complete. You got to be kidding me. Only after the class is complete, so after the brace close and the semicolon at the end, you cannot use anything from that class, including, apparently, context expression member functions. Or am I reading this wrong? Standard arrays. Static context expression, get lookup index. Well, that is a member function. Yeah, is called in a constant expression before the definition is complete. Well, yeah, this is totally a constant expression. Of course, it just defines the size of the array. And we are not allowed to call it because it's a member function. And the class is not complete yet. It's pretty much ridiculous. I think that's very annoyingly ridiculous. Does it have to do it like that then? Well, either that or put everything outside of the class. Yeah, no. That just looks too ugly and I don't need it. I think I'll just put it in line then. That doesn't make any sense. Missed a parenthesis. I did miss a parenthesis. Non-constant condition for static assertion. Static const expression at called in constant expression before. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Also this one. It doesn't allow us to call this function. It's too long. I don't want to repeat it. It is a status function. I wonder if I can use using. I'm not sure. Probably not. So I really want is just, use the add shader stage as if it is a namespace. Oh, what the hell. I'm just going to derive from it. Then I get access to this and also to these. Okay, now finally we get the expected error, namely that. Oh wait, it's not expected error yet. I need to add the header of this thing. Oh, needs to cast again. Power of 2 is power of 2 also wants it to be an unsigned int, I guess. Enable is integral. No, must be an integral type. Just cast it like that. Okay, now it works again. I'm surprised. I had expected an error on the assert inside the static assert. Oh no, inside the const expression function. Anyway, we don't need this. Let's see if that still works. Oh, no, it's private. So I did need that. Wait. Oh, yeah, right. Then I have to make it protected. I'll just add a friend back, I think. These things are private, so I do not have access to it. Unless I add a friend. But I did have expect an error here for the assert, because assert is definitely not a const expression. How can that work? I think that means that this is simply not a const expression function, or I don't know. Can at least not be used as such. It doesn't have to be. Well, it doesn't have to be, except that it has to be because of the static assert. Okay, let's run a make C tags again, so we can jump to the newly added stuff. And then we add. Okay, this was a map. Stage is returning a shader stage flag bits. And we want a declaration context container. And this is no longer a map, it is an array. So instead of passing one thing, we have to pass a shader stage index, and we can get that by calling this function. Now, the find here is turning an iterator. Iterator second is then the contents, and it must exist apparently. Not sure, but I think we can do the const no declaration context. Yeah, I think we can do the const reference to that type. Which, by the way, is a plural, because that is a standard set. And we simply get that by accessing it in the same way as above. I have to call this function on it first. Stage returns a shader stage flag, and then we convert that to a shader stage index, which you can use in utils array that takes that index. And then we get a const reference to declaration context, which is then directly our whatever it was, set or a set. And then iterate over that, over the pointers in it. Help, what is happening? I mean, it's being used again here. And then it is being not used again. Yeah. Time for a new compile. think we got a long error. No match for operator on equals. Seriously? Should I say no match for operator on equals? Operators are operands are declaration context container type, aka standard set, and standard array of that type, and a pointer of that, a const iterator of that. I think I left the assert in. Yeah, paid no attention to this assert. That's of course now nonsensical. How can I check? What does it even mean that it could or could not been found? I think it just means that the thing is not empty. I mean, before we try to find the shader info stage in this thing, and then we said we must be able to find it, and it is being added, I think, to here, insert, which is only conditional. So it might be empty. I think the whole assert is no longer necessary. Do I have another assert like that? Nope. Is that a double negation post bunny or just a typo? Well, I didn't eat breakfast today because there was nothing in my fridge. And I'm so lazy. But sooner or later today I'll have to go shopping. I have to do the dishes. I can't even cook dinner now. I think it's called addiction to programming. The stupid thing is that, you know, at some point you feel a bit depressed, which had to do with my eyes, I guess. Although now it's okay-ish again. But I had an appointment with the doctor before it. And I woke up too late. Well, the alarm woke me up. I smashed it out, fell asleep again. When I woke up, it was too late to go to the doctor, so I fell asleep again. I got out of bed at, I think, 1 a.m. or even 2 a.m. 2 p.m., sorry. And that then makes me double depressed because I'm like, my eyes are every time is, you know, hurting or going hazy even, or double images. And I missed the appointment with my doctor. And I got out of bed late. So then I was too depressed to do the dishes and go shopping for breakfast. And then that's like a spiral. Because now I'm unhappy at having done nothing. Like not having bought my food. Yeah. Maybe we should marry a post bunny. Then you can do all the cooking and the shopping. And kicking me out of bed, of course. Didn't I kick Sky Bear before? Yeah. How old are you, Sky Bear? Because I don't want to kick 12-year-old boys. Federico, yes. No match for operator unequal. Still. Did I scroll up too far or what? Looks like the exact same error as before. Okay, it compiled. It was so small that I really missed it. I was like, well, these are the errors, but no, they were the old errors. Yeah, I think this is the right moment to stop the stream and go shopping because it compiles. I didn't even do anything really. I just made a prepared something. So basically, I thought of doing all this without sitting in front of my computer. I don't know what I was doing. Because I felt that, this is faster, much faster. We now have an array of size 2, and then I can simply look up stuff. Okay, the log2 is an assembly instruction that counts zeros, I think. That's not slow. And I need it again for this one. So now we can put the declaration context and the unique shader module in one struct and then use the same array. Single lookup, the per stage declaration context plus shader module handle. Yeah, something like that. So this now must be put inside this array. Methinks. Or not. I can make a second array. Maybe that even makes more sense. The downside is that if this size of this array grows a lot at some point, then I'm going to have a large size of this base class, which while most of it probably won't be used, so it's still not really efficient. But it definitely is efficient while I'm only supporting vertex and fragment shaders. So yeah. I think I'll just do that. So put this in an array, all the same size and the same index. And now suddenly it is a per stage shader model. Per stage shader model. Shader module. Let's go from the top. Shader module and then nothing. These are all the shader modules that we have. At least seems so. Yeah. Wow. So it's being created and immediately pushed somewhere. Shader stage create. Well, really, wait. No, that's correct. Yeah. And then the lifetime is wrong. I don't know. The lifetime is equal to that of the pipeline factory. I don't like it. Or does it make sense? No, it does not make sense. Definitely still not okay. Nevertheless, stage converted to, I don't know how much. I don't know what that is. I cannot remember it. Was that not in this file? It was this. Totally not working. I was jumping here and then looking for shader module. Yeah. And then we have to add here. And here too. Which is kind of stupid to do it twice. So let's not do that twice. Let's do shader module contains contains this. Yeah, I can just take a reference to it. I have to fill it. Feels ugly, but a reference to a unique pointer. Yeah. Shader module pointer. I'll call it pointer. Let's then rip. So now we have a reference to it, and then I can do shader module pointer. So unique pointer. So there we go. And I still have to do my assert here. It cannot be already set. Now the paranoia check goes with that. And then here I must dereference of that thing, so it's just the pointer. Dereference, and you get the handle. Did I do this right? Okay, let's fix the debug output as well. Sorry, the debug name. because now it's stored in .shader module, which is now an array. So if they put something here, yeah, you could put this index into it. I mean, we should, I suppose. Maybe we should sort the index. It seems more logical to put this into it, the stage value, which you can print to an O stream. But does it have a toString or something? Yeah, it does have a toString. Let's just use a toString. toString should use ADL, so we can. I mean, it's defined in the Vulkan library namespace. I mean, and I'll just use this stage. See if it compiles. Shader module was not declared in this scope. Did you mean VK shader module? Per stage. I renamed it. It links. It compiles on links. Yeah, I'm going to go shopping. I think some validation error that I had yesterday just disappeared. Right? Because we had a validation error that the what was it again? Maybe it's in here already. I have no idea. Thought I probably in a directory where I have a lot of these files, but I don't have them anymore. Or where are they? Oh, they are here. This one should keep have it, I mean. Nope. 2. Nope. Yeah, this one. We had this error yesterday. VK command pipeline barrier to immediate blah blah blah, and that was not possible because the buffer was destroyed, and that was because my modules thing was overridden. But then at some point I could not reproduce it anymore. So now we're depended very much on a race condition, but in the end we figured it out, and then I added an assert, and then that assert would always fire, I think. Yeah. No, that's not possible. But this was not a race condition. Anyway. Now we crash on this. So I think, well, it was solved. It has to be solved because I just made it an array. Totally reproducible core dump on this thing here. And what do you mean restricted? Your stream can't be watched in the restriction mode. What do you mean? Restricted mode? I don't know what restricted mode is. Why did you have it turned on? I mean, does it mean restricted? Does it mean that you are a kid or something? You have to be protected from cursing. Every now and then I curse. Say the F word. I don't know. I turned everything off. I don't have every filter that I could find that says, do you want to filter profanity or whatever? I turned everything off, and I never have any problem with seeing things that I don't want to see. I mean, I don't want to see any porn or something. But it just isn't there anyway. Yeah, like I said, sometimes I say fuck. So, oops, yeah, well, no, you can no longer watch my streams because it's not about C++. It contains heavy, brain-damaging cursing every time I make a mistake. Yeah, well. I think it's pretty safe to turn it off and watch my streams because... yeah, well, what do you mean marked explicit? I didn't mark it explicit. I said it is not made for kids. But that doesn't mean that, I mean, if you say my stream is made for kids, which it clearly isn't, then every stream is being watched by a team of 12 lawyers. And if they see the wrong colors on your screen, then your account is banned. So obviously I'm not going to say that it's made for kids. But kids are completely welcome to watch my stream, in my opinion. So yeah, it totally sucks that if parents or whoever sets the account of kids to only being able to restricted content, then you will probably not be able to watch my streams, even though you want to learn programming, because I just said the word sucks. Yeah, well, so to keep it turned off. Don't turn it on. Restricted is for, I think, for 5 and 6 year old kids or something like that, so they don't suddenly run into something they don't understand. I don't think it's brain damaging. It's just like, Mom, what does da mean? And I don't know. People are so hyped up these days. I mean, okay, I'm old, but in my time, everyone was totally happy with, with stuff that happens on this stream. I already talked before on this stream about things that I saw happening in, what was it, WhatsApp? WhatsApp with just till 13-year-old, 14-year-old kids. Don't ask me why I was added, but one of them added me. In the sense of that I was a mentor, CQ, helping those, well, few of those kids anyway. He made a list of, I don't know, everyone he knew, I think. So there was like 100. What went on in that WhatsApp, I don't even want to talk about it. I left at some point because I could not stay in that chat without telling on them, and they trusted me. So I left and talked in private to the basically to the owner of that group, and said that I think he should shut it down because it was out of control. But I mean, let's exaggerate it a little bit, although it came pretty close. Kids of that age should not be watching videos about torture and snuff movies and hardcore BDSM, right? But that's totally different from hearing someone say the word fuck or suck. Don't stress about that. It's just ridiculous. And I'm going to stop my stream because I'm going to buy food. Hi. Sorry. Post Bunny, that was very funny. Okay. I'll have to stop. I'll be back later.